the overwhelming feeling of social anxiety. What makes us feel that we have to quit, stop in our tracks, our hearts are beating, our palms get sweaty. We then feel that we have to walk away. We can't think. Everything goes numb. Everything in our mind, all of the things that we've listened to, all the podcasts and so on, all the different tutorials are now frozen within us. And so what do we do when we have social anxiety? What do we do? How do we deal with it? How do we look for it? That's what we're talking about in today's Daily Awesome podcast. We are going to discuss it at length, tell you what you need to do, how you can handle this, and what your future is going to look like if you handle it in the right sort of ways. So that's what we're doing. If you like what we're doing, go to the free stuff link down below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or iTunes or Stitcher, wherever you're listening to this. And interact, man. Leave a comment. Even if you dislike it or have a question or you have something that you think is done poorly, let us know and we will get back to you. Or maybe you don't want us to get back to you. So social anxiety is this crazy thing that happens, and I want to talk about it a little bit differently than approach anxiety. So in seduction, we hear about approach anxiety, where we're afraid to talk to a woman. And now, approach anxiety can have, people that have social anxiety can have approach anxiety, but people that are just afraid to talk to a woman that's super attractive or somebody that they would want, this is a little bit different than social anxiety. Now, it doesn't mean that the solution's not in here, but social anxiety means that you're afraid to talk to everybody. It isn't just a woman. It isn't just somebody that is important in your life. It's that a new person that you talk to instills fear within you. And in that fear, you get panic. And in that panic, you don't know what to do, and your fight or flight mechanism comes in and you start going crazy. And you start looking for answers right away, because not only is it painful to be in that situation, but it's also painful to walk away from that situation knowing that you could have done better. If you have something like approach anxiety and you're afraid to talk to a hot chick, there's tools that you can listen to in this, but the problem moves into something deeper. Or not deeper, but something a little bit different. So when we have social anxiety, what we need to realize is we need to get back to the normal. Stop looking for answers and being superlative or being better than or having to be more alpha or more powerful. When we look for power or things that give us power or give us the power that we think we've lost from a situation, we're actually serving our weakness and our pain. So we see this over and over again with so many different situations. A guy who gets divorced, he gets hammered on emotionally, financially, through custody, through all these things, looks for power in all these ways to reclaim himself, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but if he thinks that answer of his true confidence and true expression and life stability is going to come from that power, that's where he's flawed. And we see that, make guys waste 5-6 years on something which is unimportant, trying to better themselves up when they're really serving an insecurity. And when it comes to social anxiety, we see this over and over again. Demonic confidence. That was the name of a product that came out years ago. Maybe it's still around. But what it marketed to and what it sold was that somehow anything could happen to you in life and no longer would you feel afraid and in pain. The thing is you're supposed to have those. Your anxiety is there for a reason, and it's a reaction to many different things in your life, which I may not know. But what I do know is before any of that, you were born to be social. And if you're born to be social, that leads us to the second thing, is that rather than looking for something superlative to make us great, we need to get normal daily habits that move us in a way which gets us in the normal state of socializing. So rather than doing socializing for any other reason, meaning to boost your confidence, to make you a better person, to get you things, to give you power and so on, you're going to start needing to be social just to be social. So say hello. There shouldn't be any purpose into it other than the human connection. So this is with women who are attractive, women who aren't attractive, men, old men, people who don't have anything to offer you, young people, whatever it is, start being social independent of the different social images or routes that they may carry or things that you might interpret them and them meaning. We're going to try and talk to people socially. Now, that puts a caveat in it as well. Talk to the easiest possible person you can. This is fundamentally important. Now, I actually want to take this off into a little bit of a route of if you are having the approach anxiety problem, one of the things that you need to know is that you want to always talk to the easiest possible person to get the desired result, or to get, let's change that too, to get the result that's going to put you on the path to being socially empowered or sexually empowered. So in this case of somebody who has approach anxiety, they want to get to a point where a sexual connection can be made. Now, 1 or 2 or 3 interactions like this isn't going to solve your problem, let alone for somebody with social anxiety. The thing is that we need to get a language built up in this, in our bodies, in our minds, in our emotions, and how we talk and in our lifestyles, so that it becomes normal. All right. So that you approaching a woman who you're attracted to is normal. So that you're approaching somebody who would normally terrify you, even if it's a guy or just a new person or whatever it is going to feel normal. That you can feel yourself in that, and that when your triggers of pain or confusion or that fight or flight gets kicked on, you don't have to submit to it and only react to it, that you can build that tension slowly. So we want to talk to the easiest possible person to get the desired result that is there. So if you have social anxiety, your first desired result is to feel comfortable in that situation. So you could talk to the grocery store teller. You could talk to the person serving you coffee. You could talk to the bank person. You could talk to the person riding the bus. You could talk to the cab driver. These things are all very important. Now, what's important is if we're afraid to talk about ourselves, because a lot of social anxiety really gets triggered. So if you're not one of these people, we'll move to the thing after it. But if you're one of these folks that you're just, man, everything terrifies you, you want to talk about things which are not you. All right. So it's like, man, it's really hot today, which it is really hot today. And there's about to be a branch that moves in front of everything because I moved this branch. But you could say, man, it's really hot today. Man, the leaves are really green today. The sun, man, it's the end of the day soon. And man, what a beautiful sunlight that is. Gosh, it's summertime in Austin. My dogs are barking. All these different things that you could state which are not you, right? You could say that it's hot. The crowd is whatever. The weather, the traffic, the social culture, whatever. These things have nothing to do with you. Now, if you are getting some grips with that, and we actually have a social anxiety workbook that is part of our collections, get on our email list through the free stuff link down below, and we'll send it out to you. But in that also, the next level is to then start integrating things about yourself. And what we want to do is get into that tension where we don't have to panic, right? We start seeing it as normal. Now, here's the thing. If you follow on this path, and it's an elaborate path, and you really, I recommend you being a part of a group for this, that's super important. But if you follow this path, what's going to happen is in 9 months to maybe a year, maybe even less than that, you're going to start having interactions that you won't even notice are man, just effortless and easy. And that is what happens. And the way that we know that happens is because we've done it for 11 years. Our groups actually in our community that you could be a part of right now has actually been around since 2009. So not quite that 11 years, but it's been around a long time, to where guys who come in here who can't even leave the house, who are traumatized by a certain situation or just are so affected by being, man, numbed or neutered socially in those different ways, are able to get out there, meet people, connect, not do any big deals, not do anything exaggerated, not need to put on all this armor just to leave the house and show a front to somebody, but they're able to go out there and be themselves, have great social lives, build up a network of people, get girlfriends, have relationships, and move on to the other different, many faces of life, which you get to wear as a man with honor. So being social, being sexual is a part of mental health, is a part of emotional health. We're all there to help you get there. Join our groups, join our communities, click the free stuff link down below, and we'll get you set up with our different social anxiety exercises, our programs and courses that we have for free on it, as well as our PDFs. So talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for listening. And if you like this sort of thing, build into the discussion in the comments or wherever, however you're watching this or listening to this. But man, we're here to connect. We're here to put ourselves out there to be, man, to have an interaction really with you and not just be a stationary person behind a computer or something like that, man. Come and join what we're doing. Live your life, own it, and we'll talk to you guys soon.